Hello. Welcome to our channel. Welcome to our little Hillbilly channel. If you've not been here before, my name is Elizabeth, and I am your friendly Hillbilly host. And this is Hillbilly Crime. And we've got my mother with us, Sweet Tater. Say hi.
Hi.
She had a Mommy always puts really neat little posts on Facebook every day. And I wanted to share the little post that she wrote today. It says, "This morning I could see the light out my window. I had two of my friends wrapped around me, snuggling and totally in love with my body. I finally rolled them around where I could get away. I had to get ready to learn a new song with my teacher. I practiced many of the old ones. I'm going to do a recital next time. I try to wash clothes every day. I like the smell of clean laundry. I just heard a sound and I thought it was a helicopter over my house. Nope, no helicopter, just the washing machine. That girl sure tuned up my ears. I love lessons and try to do new things. My plants are feeling like it is winter today, and I have noticed new growth. My cabbage I made was so delicious. I finished it up today. I just made meatballs. I had never made any. I just Googled meatballs and it gave me a definition and the ingredients. I just stirred them right up. I baked them in my tiny little oven. I first used 450 for about 15 minutes to get the outside crusty so they would stick together. I am going to experiment with a sauce in a little while. What a great life. I love living in southeastern Kentucky. It has its problems, but I sure have survived. No pictures yet today." So I wanted to share with you her little post this morning. That was very, very nice. All right, everybody come on in. We've got Miss Prissy Pants. Uh-oh. Everybody's already talking about the picture, ain't you? Y'all from Ontario, Canada. Extreme Blonde. Hello, Hillbilly Chatters. All right. Hello, everyone. West Virginia girl here. Smokeahonis. Hello, everyone in the chat. My dog Rex. Let's see.
Oh.
Lady Di too. I think I said that wrong yesterday. Sorry. Hey, y'all. I've been watching y'all for a few days now. Thought I'd finally say hi. Well, hello, Miss Kelly. Thank you for being here. Hello, Elizabeth and Sweet Tater. All right. Everybody's coming on in. All right. So, we're going to read a couple. I went and pulled up all of the articles for who we're going to be talking about today. So I had someone send me an email and told me that Judge Kevin Mullins's college roommate, one of them, I guess. I don't know
Just
what year.
at some time.
At some time, he was a college roommate of Kevin Mullins, and that is Mr. Patrick Little, who we have been seeing in one of the cases here. He was the prominent businessman who did not serve any jail time over his cases. And so we're going to take them in order. I'm going to go down here to the first one, and it was February 28th. All right, the Mountain Eagle. Illnesses result in Smex abuse case being delayed. Further court action has been delayed indefinitely in the case of a Letcher County businessman facing 44 SMEX-related felony indictments involving minors. Trial was supposed to begin Monday for Patrick Little of Jenkins. However, the jury was notified not to come to court that day. Little faces 22 counts of first-degree sexual abuse and 22 counts of first-degree unlawful transaction with a minor. A Letcher County grand jury returned the indictments last year. Exactly how long it will be before the case continues was not clear. Both Commonwealth's attorney, Edison Banks, and his assistant are out of the office for medical reasons. So this must have taken place whenever Edison was gone so much, when he was sick. Remember, it said that in like 3 years, he missed like 2 of them being out sick. Multiple attorneys and officials said the Kentucky Attorney General's Office of Special Prosecutions will be running the prosecutor's office here for an unspecified amount of time until one or both of the prosecutors return to work. Banks has been seriously ill since at least May 8th of 2021, when he suffered a heart attack less than 2 months after courts reopened following the pandemic. He has returned to work for brief periods before returning to hospitals and nursing homes for treatment, and has acknowledged doing some grand jury meetings by video call. He had returned to work late last fall, but has been hospitalized again for the past few weeks. Kevin Grout, spokesman for Attorney General Russell Coleman, did not directly answer the question of why or how long the state prosecutors will be here, saying only that they had been requested and would be here during the coming weeks. The Attorney General's Special Prosecutions Unit supports local prosecutors when they need additional assistance, when they have a conflict, or when are handling particularly complex or sensitive cases. Grout wrote in an email. Our office received a request for assistance from the Commonwealth's attorney, and prosecutors from the unit will provide assistance in Letcher County during the coming weeks as they work with law enforcement to keep local families safe. He did not respond to a follow-up email asking whether the assistant attorney generals would be providing all the legal work in the office temporarily. Attorneys familiar with the situation said the attorney general's office is expected to be here for the next 7 weeks, beginning today, Wednesday. So this shows us that the attorney general's office is very familiar with Letcher County, because in 2021, it appears they were here doing the work. They were at least supposed to be. But I don't know how well that went down. So we'll just have to see. Little, who runs a music shop and a rent-to-own storage building business at Ermine, which is directly across the street from LCC High School, is accused of subjecting a minor under the age of 12 to sexual contact beginning in October of 2020 and running through July 2022. So that's more than 9 months. Those are different dates than what I had originally saw, because I had calculated 9 months. So something's wrong there. Either that's a typo or something. Anyway, the 22 charges of first-degree sexual abuse of a victim under 12 are Class C felonies, punishable by 5 to 10 years in prison. The charges of first-degree unlawful transaction with a minor under 16 years old are Class B felonies, punishable by the same prison terms. And remember, he didn't get a day. Not one day. Kentucky law states a person is guilty of first-degree unlawful transaction with a minor, illegal sexual acts, if that person knowingly induces, assists, or causes a minor under 16 years old to engage in illegal sexual activity. Little was arrested on the night of March 30th, 2023, and lodged in the Letcher County Jail, but was released after posting a $100,000 full cash bond. He is ordered to have no contact with any minor, no firearms, no drugs, and no alcohol. Now, that was the first one. So let me go back and we'll read the second one. It was May the 15th. Let's see. I might have passed it here. Okay, let me do this. Here we go. All right, May 15th. Okay. Businessman enters plea in a 44 indictment case involving child sex crimes. Bless you. Sentencing has been set for August 7th for a Letcher County businessman who had been charged in 44 indictments. Patrick Little of Jenkins signed off February 14th on a plea agreement for 2 charges of first-degree sexual abuse, but it was just filed in Letcher Circuit Court this month. One of the charges in the agreement involves a child under 12, the other a child under 16. The acts allegedly took place, this is where I got those dates. The acts allegedly took place from October to July 2022, but that's not what the last one said. It said October 2020 to July 2022. So that must have been a typo in the newspaper. The charge of first-degree sexual abuse is a Class C felony and carries a maximum penalty of up to 10 years in prison. The second sexual abuse charge was amended down from first-degree unlawful transaction with a minor, illegal sex acts, a Class B felony that carries a maximum penalty of up to 20 years in prison. Under the agreement filed in Letcher Circuit Court, the Letcher County Commonwealth's Attorney's Office is recommending a sentence of 5 years on each count to run concurrently for a total of 5 years, to pay costs of therapy and counseling for the minors, have no contact with the victims or their families, and remain 500 feet away from them. The Commonwealth's Attorney's Office said it would not oppose home incarceration or work release if the court approves it. Little had faced 22 counts of one and 22 counts of the other. A Letcher grand jury returned the indictments, and then it just rehashes that part. All right. We probably don't even need to read all of them because we've already read these last 2. We know what happens. September 4th, sentencing in the sex abuse case was delayed. And then the November 27th one, businessman escapes time in jail after pleading guilty to sex crimes with minors. All right. Now, let me go back over here to some of our comments, and I'm going to show you what we got back from the public records requests for this case. It wasn't much, I can tell you. It was not much. Hi, Coco Honey. Hello, sweet lady. I love that little picture. Dawn French. Hi from Northport, Florida. Elizabeth and Sweet Tater. Shannon Edwards. Hello, Columbia, Kentucky girl here. Everybody is telling us where they're from. Thank you. From Indiana, Brisbane, Australia. I would love to go to Australia. Not county here. Now I was out running some errands today, and you know, we use propane here, like for heat where we live. We have a propane heater. And, in today's world, there is no full service anything anymore. Like when you go get gas in your car, you got to pump it yourself. We don't have no full service anymore. But we have a little feller here in Letcher County, and he does propane, and his name is Tim Seals, and he is just one of the greatest people. Every time I pull up in there, he gets my tanks out of my truck for me, that he fills them up and he puts them back in. And he's just a really, really great guy. So if anybody needs propane and you want to go to Neon and get it, there you go. We'll give him a plug. I just love how he does for us single women. Anyway, so I was out today running around, running some errands, and I was talking to some people in the community and just trying to get their take on some of this stuff. And from what I understand, this is not the first time that allegations and complaints have been made or have allegedly tried to be made with Mr. Little. This is just apparently the first one that actually stuck and went through the court system. So, but anyway, I found that very interesting. Hi from Indiana, which of course we know how the criminal justice system is. Everybody's innocent until they're proven guilty. But Mr. Patrick Little took a plea bargain, and so now he is a convicted SMEX, or at least maybe, I don't know if he's got to register as a SMEX offender or not, because it doesn't say anything about that in any of those articles. Not one that I could find. Take a moment and hit that like button. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. That helps our channel, helps us get out to more people. Just like Idaho and the Richard Allen case, one big circle from way back to now. Buddha belly, under 12. It just blows me away. And let's see. Let me get over here where I'm supposed to be. I was looking through some of the Ben Fields's documents, some of his Facebook messages and stuff, and we're going to look at some of that stuff too. That was very interesting. Okay, here it is. Let me share this. All right, y'all. So this is from the header up here, says Honorable Edison G. Banks. So this was from Edison. Dave, or at least it's on Edison's paper. I don't know. It has Honorable Nick Whitaker, Assistant Commonwealth's Attorney, Katrina Jones, the victim's advocate, Tevin Williams, the Commonwealth's detective, and then it has Dave Wilson, Office of Special Prosecutions, Office of the Attorney General, a request for appointment of special prosecutor for the Patrick Little case. And it said, and then Matt Butler is the one who signed it. So it's very confusing. It's got Edison Banks's letterhead, but then it's from Matt Butler. Okay. And it says, Dear Dave, please find enclosed my notice of disqualification in the above styled proceedings. It is necessary that I disqualify in this case on the grounds that I represented Mr. Little in this matter at his private law office, which that doesn't make any sense. That has to be a typo because Patrick Little is not an attorney. Unless, I don't know. It says, on the grounds that I represented Mr. Little in this matter. So our Commonwealth's attorney, Matt Butler, which is what I had reported a few days ago, he was Patrick Little's defense attorney in this case prior to becoming appointed as the Commonwealth's attorney. And remember, Matt Butler is the brother-in-law of Kevin Mullins. They married sisters. And I gave Jamie Hatton a really, really hard time because in the paper, it says that Jamie Hatton was the Mountain Eagle, reported that Jamie Hatton was appointed the special prosecutor for his case. But right here, it says that Honorable Bill Sloan has agreed to finish prosecution in these cases. Charge 1, sexual abuse first degree, victim under 12 years of age. Charge 1, unlawful transaction with a minor, first degree, illegal sex acts. Should you require any additional information, feel free to contact me. And then it says, sincerely, Honorable Matt Butler. And then this must be the response from
The state.
the Attorney General, from Russell Coleman. It says, Honorable Bill Sloan, and it's about the Patrick Little Criminal Circuit, Letcher County. So that's upstairs. Dear Mr. Sloan, pursuant to your agreement to be appointed as special prosecutor in the above styled matter, and in accordance with Kentucky Revised Statutes, Chapter 15, the Office of the Commonwealth's Attorney for the 35th Judicial Circuit is hereby appointed to represent the Commonwealth in said matter. We appreciate your cooperation, and if you need assistance from this office, please do not hesitate to call on us. And that is, and then they CC'd on there Matt Butler and the judge of the Letcher Circuit Court and the clerk of the Letcher Circuit Court. So that would have went to Jim. Well, I don't know if Jim, I guess so. I guess Jimmy Kraft was the judge on this case. And we sent a public records request to the Attorney General's office. And I'm not going to put it up here. I'm just going to read it real quick. It says, after a diligent search, the office found 2 records responsive to your request. Certain telephone numbers from these records are redacted as they are exempt from disclosure. These records indicate that Matt Butler, the Commonwealth Attorney for the 47th Judicial Circuit, was disqualified from prosecuting the defendant in this case because he had previously represented him in a legal capacity. The second record shows that Bill Sloan, the Commonwealth Attorney for the 35th Judicial Circuit, agreed to be appointed as the special prosecutor in this case. As such, please be advised that most of the records you seek are likely held by Mr. Sloan's office, as the Office of the Attorney General did not prosecute this case. And let me look here. If this is something. We already looked at that. Okay. So, and there's not really much that we have found for this case. We really have not found anything other than what we got there. You got any thoughts on any of this, Mother?
Well, I mean, they have to keep track of what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? And he knew he couldn't represent that guy anymore because he was now going to be doing something else. I guess that happens all the time. So that's just their paperwork.
Mm-hmm. Well, that I don't know if that's even a big I don't know how Jamie Hatton has been brought into it. Let's see if it's in this one, and I'll pull it up and show you. Yep, right here. This was the article from the September 4th, 2024. Sentencing in Smeck's abuse case delayed. The plea agreement signed in May included a provision that the Commonwealth's attorney would not object to home incarceration for Little. Commonwealth's attorney Matt Butler, who took office in July, recused himself from the case because of a conflict, and County Attorney Jamie Hatton is prosecuting it now. Sentencing was set for last month but was delayed while attorneys determine whether the plea agreement is allowable under the minimum sentencing guidelines set in the new Safer Kentucky Act. So I don't know if they just, I don't know.
Was this after the other article or before?
Well,
what's the date on this one?
They announced, they announced Bill Sloan
was going to be the
October 23rd, 2024.
Okay, so
is the date on there. That was a good catch, Mom. That was a real good catch. So they let Jamie do all of the negotiations and everything, and it looks like they didn't make this guy the special prosecutor until the case was already done, because they just finalized it in November, but the plea bargain was signed in February.
Well, they may have other things that they had to go do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they have to have, they can't chain them to their desk.
Well, look here. Matt Butler didn't send this notice of disqualification until the date on it is October 22nd, 2024. That's very odd.
Well,
look here. So here's the date for the response. Right here, it says October 22nd. This was the request that was sent on Edison's letterhead by Matt Butler to the Kentucky Attorney General's office, requesting a special prosecutor, October 22nd, 2024. And the response assigning Bill Sloan as the special prosecutor was October 23rd, 2024. That just seems like it's very odd. It probably ain't no big deal. They probably can do that kind of stuff all the time. I'm sure they do. But it just seems kind of odd. Really starting to come together as to why Mickey did this and what he did. There was also, I have a friend who used to work in the courthouse. And back when she was working there, she said that the FBI and another agency. I don't remember right off the top of my head who the other agency she said was, but said that they came in and they got Judge, and Judge left with them, and he was gone for 2 days. And whenever he came back and got right back up on the bench, and everything was hush hush, quiet, and never talked about again. So there was a lot going on. Oh, it's someone snoring. Yeah, she's laying over here. I'm nose blind to it, y'all. Her ear.
I couldn't hear it either.
Ah, Australia is like your county. Let's see. Leslie Ross says Morganton, North Carolina here. Watching y'all from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Yes, hit that subscribe button and help us grow to 5,000. We're almost there. That's been amazing. That's been like 2,000 subscribers just this week, y'all. We are growing fast. Epstein moved into the USA courts. Then he moved to the United Kingdom and Australia. Well, there are a whole lot of people who are very sexually immoral. And, it's not something that people talk about, They're not out telling their deepest, darkest secrets,
Well, they may not think that it's immoral. I've read things and watched stuff where there's groups of people that don't think that it's immoral to be carrying, to be doing those types of things with young people. Now, I think it's immoral, and not because of any kind of a religious thing, but I think everyone should be able to be protected in our country from that kind of thing until they reach a legal age. It's just not fair. It's not right.
Nope, it sure ain't.
And it's not because the law says it's not right. It isn't, for me, it's not because religion says it's not right. It's just just not productive to think that children should be involved in that kind of thing. It would lead to social collapse.
Absolutely.
Even like the deaths of children years ago when we didn't keep good records or anything, I always wonder how many people may have, had a child and not wanted it, and instead of, there wasn't nothing they could do with it. They had to raise it or kill it. And that, is not productive to a civilized world. And that's the same way I feel about these adults carrying on with these kids. They shouldn't even be entertaining such things.
Yeah. Well, we've got a couple messages here.
Well, let's read them.
I'm going to try to, let me stop sharing that. And okay. So these are a few of the conversations that Ben was having with other officers that were down there. Now, this has got Ben Fields. Let's see if this is the first one. Okay. And he says, but I think I would pass on the wearing of the bracelet with Dale. I'll take your word for it. And then whoever he's talking to here, it's redacted. And it says, LMAO, laugh my butt off. He is a true girl, and I'm a nervous wreck around him. but it also makes me feel needed. He is goofy as HELL, and it works. And then the same redacted person says, if the bracelet, I guess is what they were trying to say, ever came off, it would be because I have become desperate for Smex. Don't you dare make me go to Ben Mead. Mead. I think she meant Bill Mead. Don't you dare make me go to Bill Mead. But it says Ben. And then they say, he is a perv. And I get it, but listen, very forwards, if I want to F you, promise you will know it. And then Ben responds and says, I won't make anyone go there against their will, LOL. And they're talking about, this is the conversation they were talking about having about Bill Mead, the uncle, contacting her. And I just don't even understand how that's not, Smex trafficking when he obviously, or somebody has obviously given the old man her number for him to contact her. And knowing it was for Smex, it wasn't just to say hi.
Well, I think there has to be some money exchanged.
There was.
But I'm talking about between him and Bill. You know what? He didn't give any money to anybody. The guy that gave out the name. Right. So that's why that he's not involved in that.
And then he says, she says, but listen, I have been in a relationship all my life. And if I have to take one for the team, hell, I'm single. And then redacted says, but damn, be hard to do it sober. I'm not a drinker. You sure I can't have a few beers if I go there? LOL. Well, I'm getting in the shower. I still have your lighter. And then here's the conversation with him and Jason Eccles. And Jason Eccles is another one of the deputies down there. Let's see. Jason says, is this Harlan Collins' sister? And Ben says, no, or that's Robbie's woman. And Ben says, why? And Jason says, she sent me a friend request, just wondering. And Ben says, yeah, it's complicated. And Ben then says, she was adopted by Robbie and Harlan's mom and grew up with them. So she is their sister and much more. LOL. Just makes me sick. Ben then asks, this is another conversation between him and Jason Eccles. Ben says, what did they indict Bill Mead on? And Jason says, some kind of smexual case. So what I'm assuming by the way this conversation is going, he's asking what the grand jury did. So this would be telling what the grand jury did, which I don't think you're allowed to do that, but I don't know. I'm no lawyer. Jason Eccles says, I think. I'll find out 100%. I was getting Delwyn when he started it. And then Ben says, that's what I thought. And Jason says, what we doing? And Ben says, I'll be back over in a sec, talking to the judge now. So.
Well, messages between friends can be misleading, I'm going to say, because.
That's true.
I might have sent some messages that now I'd like to get them back and pretend like it never happened. I don't know that I have sent any like that, but I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I know. Nobody really thinks, you never think that somebody's going to be going through your stuff,
No, you don't.
But that's also how a lot of these people get caught, too, because they're so...
Well, they're cocky.
And arrogant. And they think that they're just not going to tootie seal.
Well, they think that they can delete that stuff and it's deleted, and it never is.
Right. No.
Let's never think about it.
They can go back. Is our propane guy Seals? Is that Tootie Seals' son?
I think so.
Is he? Well, he's a great man, and I just adore all of them there. Him and his son and his daughter. They are wonderful people. I don't know his wife.
They're very good business people.
They are. My daughter is 5. She has a story to tell from Florida. She demands to be heard and will be heard. I'm sorry. Oh, let's see. Dwight Lloyd, my new favorite channel. These are my people. There we go. Hillbilly Hollers. Kentucky Wonder Woman. I'm late, but making this live. Yay. Hello from Kentucky, gal. Now living in Florida. Love your channel. Well, thank you. America, tell your daughter we are listening to her. Cherry Perkins. Any idea when this will go to trial? I saw something not long ago. I think they said it's sometime for 2025. But, I'm just not convinced it'll go to trial myself.
What are you talking about going to trial?
Mickey.
Oh.
Yeah.
I say that we'll get some sort of confirmation in 25 as to what's going to be done.
Yeah. Well, I got the impression listening to Jackie Steele in his last interview, I got the impression that they were looking towards mental health, like this was some kind of a response or a reaction to some kind of a bad mental health crisis or something. That's what I think that the prosecution is going down. But you got to remember that this case is being prosecuted by the exact same Attorney General's office that we've been seeing in all of these cases that we've been looking at so far on this channel. So you've got the exact same office, exact same people on this case. And it doesn't.
Well, they'll be much more careful in this case because it's going to make world news.
Well, it has, and it has, like all of this stuff with like Patrick Little and all these other people, all these other cases that they've kind of swept under the rug and kept contained. They didn't care who saw any of this information because there was nothing that anybody could do. There's still nothing nobody can do. But since nobody thought that Mickey was going to go down there and do something like that, something like what he did. And now that he's done this, it's kind of brought all these eyeballs in. And I'm just shocked. I'm absolutely shocked that they went ahead and went through with this plea bargain for Patrick Little after Mickey did what he did with the judge, because all that does is look even worse. You know what I mean?
Well, that's as it should be. What happened there should not influence what they do with Patrick Little. I can vaguely remember Patrick Little because he used to set sound up in different locations. And so I remember him vaguely. I don't remember having conversations with him. But, he, I don't know if he's guilty or not. It's something you don't know. No. At least there's enough gossip around and enough people thinking that he could do something like that. You know what I'm saying? If I'd ever talked to him, I would have a better opinion, but I can't remember talking to him.
If you were if you were charged, if the grand jury came down and charged you with 44 counts of sexual abuse with 2 children, and you were innocent, you did not do it, would you go to trial or would you take that plea bargain?
Well, I mean, it depends on how solid the information is, or if it would have to affect you in the mind, would you do a plea bargain if you were innocent? Well, people have to do it.
Well, now,
and he may have been innocent, and that the courts told him they'd go lenient somehow if he would plead guilty, so they didn't have to drag all this out.
well,
he was living in the house with those 2 kids.
We don't want anyone to be innocent, serve time in jail. That is like the worst injustice of all. I forget.
It happens all the time.
I know. I forget what the saying is. We learned it in school. It was something. It's better for 500. I forget what the numbers were, but it's
guilty
better
to go free.
It's better for 10 red rummers to go free than one innocent man, be sent to prison for something.
Well, I think there's a lot of innocent people that are convicted, and I think the poorer they are and the darker their skin, the more likely they are convicted if they are innocent. So they're placed in a situation to where, a plea bargain sometimes is their best shot in life. Like I didn't, sometimes you don't choose who you're born into. You don't choose how you look. You don't choose whether you're poor or not. But sometimes you just have to deal with the fact that I'm a poor person, and I got to do this in order to survive. What's best for me?
Yep. Well,
but that's me, because I'm this big defender of the weak and the innocent and multiple chances, and I just can't hardly believe that a grown adult man would take advantage of young children like that.
I can't neither. It's my brain doesn't work that way, but a lot of people's do, apparently. Oh, thank you, Kentucky Wonder Woman. That makes you our stream sponsor. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Get that up here. What do you guys think of all this? Do you think that, and I wondered too when I saw their ages, when I saw Judge Mullins's, thank you, Miss Kathy, thank you, God bless you. When I saw their ages, they were very close in age. And let me pull up. I got a picture here too. Oh yeah, and we were gonna watch this. Let me go over here. I'll pull it up. We were gonna look at Judge Mullins's campaign thing.
Kevin Mullins, a husband, a father, a lot more than a former prosecutor, more than a district judge. Kevin's papa, a preacher, an underground miner. Kevin's grandfather, member of the United Mine Workers. Kevin's dad held 2 jobs most of his life. He and 3 of his brothers served in the military. Kevin's mommy, a teacher's aide at Jenkins Independent. You know more about the man when you know his family. Kevin Mullins for district judge.
There was his thing. That was the campaign commercial that they made, and I think that was back in 2010, because he was appointed to fill an open spot, bench spot, in 2009. And then he had to run in the election in 2010. And that was the old campaign video. And I've not seen one since. Once he got in there, he was a shoo-in. Every election, he was a shoo-in. And I don't think there was anybody ever even ran against him. I don't remember anybody running against him. I could be wrong about that. I probably just wasn't paying attention, but he wasn't getting voted out of there. Kevin would have stayed in there as long as he wanted to. He would have been reelected every time. That's my own opinion, but I think the way that it goes around here, it's just really hard to get an incumbent out of a spot like Edison Banks. He didn't vacate his seat as Commonwealth attorney. They finally, the Kentucky Attorney General's office, I reckon, finally just came in and who knows why they did it, but they went ahead and appointed Matt Butler, who was Kevin Mullins' brother-in-law. They appointed him to take over Edison's place. Well, that must not have went over very well with Banks. I'm just guessing here, but I don't think it went over very well with him because he put his name back in the hat for the next election. And many people went down to vote, and some of my friends that were in line to vote said that the other people that were standing in line, most of them didn't even know that Edison had even been sick. Like, it wasn't common knowledge that Edison was so sick. Yeah, some people read the Mountain Eagle, but a whole lot of people don't read the newspaper. And I think they only said it a couple times in the paper. Like, it wasn't, they didn't, that I'm aware of. I don't think that they had any kind of big announcement in the paper that our our circuit court was being harmed by him not showing up to work, which it was, but it wasn't a big news story. So anyway, from what the election results showed, Matt Butler barely even beat Edison Banks. Before the numbers were completely in, I saw many people post on Facebook that they couldn't believe Edison was going to win it. And then Matt Butler pulled it out there at the very end. But, you know, who would even trust Letcher County's vote counts? I don't know if I do. Let's see. Oh, that's okay, honey. Got on late. We'll have to catch up in replay. Absolutely. Bashir appointed Mullins. Any connection? I don't know. You had two Bashirs. You had the daddy and the son. And I'm not sure which one appointed Mullins. I'd say it was the daddy, because I don't think that the son was governor at that time. But wouldn't it have been the Kentucky Attorney General's office that would have appointed Mullins? I don't know. That's a good question, Color Me Gone. Very good question. Extreme Blonde says no. So there you go. Everybody is mentally ill when they get caught, right? You got that right. Hello, sweet ladies. Louisiana girl here. Well, hello. I love how they talk in Louisiana. There's a DJ Rhett in Louisiana. He's on TikTok, I think is where he's at. And I love listening to him talk. He's so handsome. Donna West, do you think we'll ever get the true story of what really happened? No. I do not think so. Is this the office whose investigators recorded the interview with the victim and were just awful to the victim? That's right. Same office. Elizabeth, when did Patrick Little commit those crimes? Well, the one article said between 2020 and 2022. And then the other, huh?
Go ahead.
Well, then the other article just said 2 different months within 2022, so I'm not sure.
But they were backwards. Said October to July. So that would indicate the date was left off the October to me.
Right.
So I think it's between 2020 and 2022, just for looking at the...
Good catch. Good catch, Zelmy.
Well, it's just common sense, you know. I'm not anything special.
Baton Rouge, color me gone.
Woohoo! By Baton Rouge. I'd like to be down there right now. All we got's rain and cold weather.
I know.
I guess it could be worse. It could be snow.
Yeah. Lady Di says 95% of people take plea deals. And this is one of the biggest problems because you don't have attorneys like the public defenders. They don't usually. I hate to put down public defenders, and I'm not trying to, but usually they don't work hard for you unless they are being paid very well.
Well,
And
that's just characteristic of the human condition in America is unless you pay people, they're not going to work hard for you.
That's right. That's right.
And the other thing is they're underpaid as well, and they have so many cases. And that's like if they didn't do these deals, all these deals in court, we'd be covered up trying to try all these things. There's a lot of criminology and stuff going on in this country. We just don't have the legal force to deal with it all.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, you have false reports and all kinds of old bad stuff.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people will take those plea deals, and this is true. There is a lot of truth to this, that a lot of times you've got innocent people that will take a plea bargain because they're afraid. They're afraid to go to trial and be convicted. But in my experience, a lot of these prosecutors use that. They use the plea bargains to browbeat people when they don't have the evidence. When they don't have the evidence to convict. So if you would take it to the trial, you would probably have a much better chance at being found not guilty than, taking that plea bargain. My girlfriend, Shannon, her and her boyfriend was sewed up, and it was with law enforcement, and it was over in Harlan County, and they went over there and they hired some little girl lawyer. Mom, get that cat. Everybody got flashed.
Oh, did she show her butt?
Yeah.
Oh, she was giving me kisses.
Sorry, y'all. That's what you get here. Don't move her. Don't let her get up there and do it again.
Well, she don't have nothing on her butt.
Well,
she's got a pretty little tail. I love my animals.
We do too. That was hilarious. Anyway, back to the lawyers. So anyway, let's go look at some comments. Oh, I'm kind of, my face is red and I don't know what to say.
Yeah, he was down there by that. And he set the sound at a lot of festivals around the area.
Somebody asked if Patrick Little was the guy with the storage buildings. Yes, he has the storage buildings and the music store there.
I don't think he has it anymore, does he? Didn't he sell it?
I don't know.
Well, I don't know either. Maybe I might be talking out my ears, blowing smoke through my ears.
It's all about the money and who you know. That's very true. And so let me get back to the lawyer thing. So if you've got people who cannot afford a lawyer, you know, that's one of our rights, that if you cannot afford a lawyer, one will be appointed for you. But then you have these very high-priced attorneys who tend to have very good relationships with the judges. And, you know, so it kind of, like, what it really boils down to is, do you have enough money to hire the lawyer who's got an in with the judge? And that's kind of how a lot of these cases end up going. I mean, and we may not all agree. We may not all agree. That's okay. We can still love each other and agree to disagree on some things. Let's see. R. Drake says, amen, ma'am. I haven't gotten down here to all of the comments about Kitty. Let's see. Jody 66, girl. They sure do. My son just took 3-year plea in case he wanted to take to trial, but scared of going to trial.
Then your life is held in limbo while they get all this mess straightened out. So your life is messed up. And if you take a plea, they might backdate it to when all this mess started. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It might take them 3 years to get it all worked out anyway. But then you would have, you'd be out of jail. So
Miss Ashley Short says, Mickey wasn't taking the blame for any of them. No, he didn't do anything to stop the corruption. But how can you when the judge is the one corrupted? You know, and when you've got a court system. So if you do have a judge that is corrupted or a prosecuting attorney who is corrupted, who is supposed to come in and shake that tree? You know, who is the one, just like we heard the FBI and them allegedly came in and got Judge Mullins and took him and was gone with him.
Oh, does Louisiana have 2 governors in prison? Is that what that means?
Louisiana has its share of corruption. 2 governors in prison. Yeah, that's what they said. We in North love your accent. Well, thank you, Miss Cat.
Oh my. Yeah, I got one for sure. I sound like my grandma.
Yeah.
I probably could sound more like her if I wanted to.
Lawyers, judges, etc. It's a money-making business. They want to go to court, and it makes them money. Yeah. Now, I watched one of my very good friends that went to my church absolutely be pummeled by the Letcher County criminal justice system. And once they sucked every penny that they could out of him and his entire extended family, like 1.5 years later, they dismissed all the charges against him. Like nothing stuck. Nothing at all.
He'd stayed in jail a very long time.
He was in
and the shame and mortification of
ruined his business, ruined his reputation.
Well, nobody believed he was guilty, so he's doing pretty good now.
Yeah. But still, he should never have had to go through all of that. It was just unbelievable.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You can twist children's. I used to think that everything a child said was the truth when they made accusations, but I no longer believe that, because people can twist kids' minds and they'll say stuff and make implications. It's just hard to tell what the truth is.
That's true. It is. It is. And nobody, in my opinion, nobody's going to come out and tell what was going on, because everybody was involved in some way, shape, or form with something. And so if one person tells, they're going to end up telling on themselves, and they're not going to do that. And you weren't on here with me, Mommy, whenever I was saying it yesterday, but with like with the Benfield stuff with these two women. Okay, so the very beginning of all of the interviews with these women, the very beginning of it all, they start off saying, "Oh, so you heard rumors, right? So you heard rumors." And they were like, "Yep, yep, we heard rumors that, we didn't have, if we couldn't pay for it, then we could do it with old Ben, and, that'd be all right." So, okay, for them to have heard rumors, it had to have happened with people prior to them hearing the rumors. And you don't have anybody coming forward admitting that they were the ones that were doing it. The only two people that we have are Sabrina and Jennifer Hill, and Jennifer Hill is no longer here. I also wanted to go look up for the little, the two unsolved red rums. You had Deathridge. Her last name was Deathridge. She was the one who was red rummed, and it's unsolved. And then her mother was red rummed, and it's unsolved. And so let's go here, because a lot of people have not seen what I forget what her first name is, but it's going to tell us whenever I pull it up here. These all happened in the same area, the same geographical area.
Cowan, on the same holler.
Yeah, Cowan and Whitco, and that whole area in there is all around the same geographical area. And that's where Benfield's family is all from, is up there in Whitco. And that is where all three of these unsolved red rums were happened. All right. So this was November 1st of 2023. This is Patricia Deathridge. And she had an open case. It's on my phone. I didn't get it sent over. But she had been arrested at some time. But I was having a hard time finding the date for it, because I wanted to look and see if she had ever been on house arrest. And if she had been on house arrest within that period of time.
So let me ask, what was she in jail, or what was she? What were the charges against her?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure. Let's read this first, and then I'll go pull that up on my phone and see what it said. All right. November 1st, 2023. Probe continues into death of woman, pew-pewed in the head. And that's her right there. Angela Roberts knew something was wrong when she came home from a trip and her only daughter wasn't there to meet her. Patricia Deathridge, 40, of Cowan, always picked her mother up from a friend's house when she came back. But on July 31st, she wasn't there. Deathridge lived next door to her mother on Bald Mountain Road, and her car was at Roberts's house when she got home. I went to her house looking for her, and the door was wide open. The lights were on. My pew-pew was there, and her purse was there on the table, Roberts said, adding she had given her daughter the .380 pistol for protection. Before the night was out, Dethridge, who had been missing for at least 2 days, would be pronounced dead, and her case is now another unsolved death in Letcher County. We didn't find her till 10 o'clock at night, and her dog was what alerted us, Roberts said. The dog was standing on the edge of the hill, barking all evening until a nephew finally went over the hill to find out why it wouldn't leave the spot on the roadside. Robert said her nephew didn't want to tell her what he'd found when he came back up, and he tried to stop her from going down to see for herself. I slid down that hill on my butt in a dress, she said. Dethridge's decomposing body was tangled in vines 50 feet over the steep wooded embankment below Bald Mountain Road. The 911 dispatch center at Hazard said it received the call at 11:39 p.m., July 31st, something Roberts disputes. She said they called much earlier, but police could not find the address. So that's bad. That
Probably true.
Wrong. Whenever the call was made, troopers arrived near midnight, and a preliminary investigation indicated that Dethridge fell over the embankment, causing an injury that resulted in death. There's how good our detectives are. Letcher County Coroner Perry Fowler said at that time that he couldn't say for certain that was the cause of death because of the condition of the body. He did order an autopsy, and it turned up something authorities didn't expect. Patricia Dethridge had been pew-pewed once in the head, but no weapon was found at the scene. The investigation is continuing, and her death certificate says that the manner of death is pending investigation. Roberts does not believe it could have been self-inflicted. She wouldn't do that to herself. She was red-rummed, Roberts said, and that was her mother. Dethridge had picked up Roberts's hydrocodone pain pills at the pharmacy like she was supposed to, and security video showed her leaving a gas station in Whitesburg on that Friday night, the anniversary of the flood of 2022. She wasn't seen again until her body was found that Monday night. She told me, "I've got your medicine. I'm putting it in the house," Roberts said. But we looked everywhere, and it wasn't there. Roberts said her daughter had been involved with a bad crowd and acknowledged that she had been using rugs, but she said she wanted to stop and had cleaned up some. She smoked a little Mary Jane, Roberts said. She was slowly taking herself off of the meth, and they found a little of that in her system. I never held up for my kid. She still got in jail every time I turned around there for a while, but she hadn't been in a jail for over a year, Roberts said. She had cleaned herself up that much. She stayed right at home. She hardly ever got out and went anywhere. Roberts is not satisfied with how the case is progressing and asked that anyone who knows anything about where her daughter was or what happened come forward with the information. She said she believes whoever unalived her daughter was looking for something and is still looking 3 months after her death. They've already broke into her house 2 or 3 times already, Roberts said. I don't know what they're looking for. And that was after she died. They were still breaking in her house looking for something.
Well, they were looking for more drugs, is what I would suspect.
Oh, well, that could be possible. Ashley Short says, I don't think Mickey will take a plea. He will expose everything to prove his name. Around here, all you have is your word and your name. But I sure hope that it goes to trial. And I hope that we do find out what happened. You know, I'm not perfect. I make mistakes all the time. I say things that I shouldn't say sometimes. I put my foot in my mouth often. I do things sometimes that I regret and that I wished that I hadn't done. So I'm not trying to like just come down on everybody, but there's a difference between making mistakes and being a predator on people who are more vulnerable than you. Don't you think? Zelma, did you hear me?
Yeah. I just don't have any opinions, to tell you the truth.
That's okay.
It kind of stymies me that any of this is
even happening.
And that it's even got any relativeness to it.
Thank you, Mama Duck. I know. First time I heard of that one, so my new name is Nasal Disgrace. Nancy Grace's husband was red rummed. Yeah, I remember seeing that. I remember her talking about it some.
You know, I couldn't shoot a gun, much less take one and point it at someone and pull the trigger. There's absolutely no way that I could shoot somebody. I couldn't shoot a dog. I couldn't shoot a cat.
Yeah, I know.
I'd have to work myself up. It, take me 3 or 4 hours. If a dog had rabies or something and I needed to shoot it, it'd take me a long time to get my mind to where I could go out and do that, I believe.
Yeah. Well, I sure couldn't. I couldn't.
I wouldn't know how to.
Unalive anything. Let's see. Let me see if I can pull up these picture or screenshots that I took of Ben Fields' records here. Oh, screenshots. That's where they were at. Okay.
I bet he's getting tired of people talking about him.
Oh, that's awful, ain't it? Let's see. Well, I was wondering how they dealt with Ben, with Ben's. Let me stop sharing that. So a lot of these pictures that were taken on his phone that we got were receipts from people that were on house arrest. And it looked to me like the majority of them that had come in were all Angie Fields is the one who signed all the receipts. Like here's one. Angela Fields, received $170 from Brian Broom's mother for 2 weeks worth of house arrest. And then she's got her date there. And then here they redacted this, the picture, but it showed the author was Angie Fields, and Roger Sargent has you $85 here also.
You know, I think that is just a shame that they charge people. I mean, they charge people for that.
Well, I know.
It's not
Patty,
hardly fair.
so here, and look at the money. That's what my whole thing has been. Follow the money. Okay. So here we've got, and this is Angie and Ben. Said Patty wanted this. Who dropped it off? Him, and he only paid 40. Said he'd catch up completely on the first. I told him he better be texting you to let you know. And then she sent him a picture there. And there's another. Did he pay? Yes. And then here we've got another.
There, $1,655.
Began with 170 in cash. And we don't know what this is for, of course, right here. Now, I went through and I marked out all the first names.
But the money goes to whoever it is that's got those ankle bracelets.
Well, what he said in the interview was that he deposited all of this money into the bank account for the company, and then the company pays him once a month. But it never did say how much, or at least I haven't found that yet. We still don't know how much he was making of that. I don't think he wasn't making all of it, because then they would pay him once a month. But look at the money. Look how much money they were bringing in. And you have to keep track of this stuff. You have to keep records. And so this right here is just a ledger from August 25th to August 31st. And there was 34 names on there. Here's one from September 1st of 21 to September 7th. There's 32 people on there. So, and then here's the receipts. And it's got Angie Fields. Angie Fields. There was a whole bunch of these, but I didn't copy them all. I just copied a couple of them because there was just so many of them. But who's collecting the money? How come, like, who did Angie work for? Was she, and they kept saying that it didn't have nothing to do with the sheriff's department. Absolutely nothing to do with the sheriff's department. But yet Angie was the one taking up the money, collecting the money. Well, how are these women not paying for their ankle monitors? It just doesn't make any sense. Receipts total up to $1,655. That's the cash I have, she says. Well, my question is, with that right there, why wasn't the jail or whoever she was working for brought into that a little bit more? You know, what about, it just doesn't make no sense to me. And the dates on everything, you know, you got to go back and you got to look at those dates, just like the paperwork with Matt Butler. So they only assigned a special prosecutor in October, the month before he was sentenced. Is that normal? Is that something that usually happens? Do you possibly think that what they're looking for might be a tape? That is why these two women were unalived. We don't know. There's no progress on those cases. All three of them. There's nothing. Absolutely nothing. I mean, You know, when you've got all that says to me is incompetence. I mean, we already know how incompetent so many people in Letcher County that hold these positions of authority are. But that just goes to show you, it goes to prove to you. Okay, so let me pull up my calculator here. I wanted to do the numbers real fast. Let me find my calculator. I changed it on my phone, and now I'm not really sure where it's at anymore. All right, well, I'll just Google it. All right. What is 32 multiplied by $85? It's $2,720. So, if you had 32 people on house arrest and every one of them had to pay $85 a week, that's $2,720 a week. That's a lot of money. And who was the one that was doing all of the budgeting and the accounting? I guess that would have been Patty. And you had several times in these conversations, you had, like, Angie said, well, one of them only paid $40 and they'll catch up next week on all of it. Well, who was the one that was keeping track of all of the underages? You know, did I just make up a word? Instead of overages, I said underages. I think I just made up a whole new word. Let's see. Lady Di says, like, don't they have computers with Excel? Yeah, but, you know, it looks like you've got a whole bunch of not so bright people that are just given all of this unchecked authority and power in Letcher County. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All of this will exhaust your mind trying to process it. It sure will. Yep. I go through all of this stuff. I go through all of it every day, and there's just so much of it, you know. There's just so much. And you wonder why these other agencies haven't done anything. Like, why aren't they stepping in? Even right now, when all of these eyeballs are on Letcher County and the corruption and the nepotism and just the appearance of impropriety. Just the appearance alone is enough to have some investigating done. If the FBI and whoever else the agency was that came in and talked to Judge Mullins a couple years ago, if they came in and they investigate, or they pulled him out and they looked through all of whatever was going on and they brought him back and just let him get back up on that bench, I mean, there has to be a reason why they came in the first place. There was another situation where a woman was pulled over in Letcher County. And we're not talking about Pratt. with driving Edison Banks's vehicle. We're talking about a whole other girl in a whole other incident with a car full of rugs in a whole nother situation. And apparently, from what I've received from a source, the vehicle was in the judge's name. And that whole thing got swept under the rug, and nobody ever talked about it again, and it was never brought up again. So, you've got.
She'll be out of a job now.
Well, the judge ain't here no more.
That's what I said. She'll be out of a job.
Who?
Whoever that girl was that was taking care of him.
Oh, well, I think that's another situation. This was a much younger girl that was just driving a vehicle that allegedly belonged to the judge. And I don't know. This is what was sent to me. And they didn't know if this was because whenever it did come out, there wasn't no, they kept it hush hush. It was very quiet.
It was in the paper, though.
This one doesn't give any names. This one is Letcher County woman arrested following rug bust. This was April 26th of 2023. And look at all that stuff that's on and you got to remember, this is what these confiscations look like. We're not talking about them confiscating just a little baggie in somebody's pocket. These confiscations that they were putting on Facebook every day, that they found one, and in the newspaper, we're talking major weight in substances. You've got major amounts of cash. You've got look at all that stuff. Let me go over here and read it. It says a woman in Letcher County was arrested last night after police discovered meth during a traffic stop. An officer with the Jenkins Police Department conducted a traffic stop on a vehicle after they noticed the driver was speeding on Mountain Breeze Road. A K-9 unit named Voxy was deployed and sniffed around the vehicle. Voxy alerted police on the driver door, passenger door, and the trunk of the vehicle. Police searched the vehicle and discovered meth, paraphernalia, controlled substances, hypoderms, and a large amount of small clear baggies and a pew-pew. A lockbox was also found that contained a pound of meth, the F word that unalives everybody, and other rugs. The driver was arrested on several rug offenses and was placed in the Letcher County Jail. Picture courtesy of Jenkins Police Department. Now, I don't know if that one is connected or not, but somebody sent me that and asked me if I thought it was connected, and I don't know. I don't know. When they don't tell names and they don't, they're not transparent with the community, there's a whole lot of bad things that can get swept under the rugs. Shamek said that Ledger is subpar. So many mistakes could be made and skimming for their own profit. Well, and we already know that he was letting women off without paying their stuff. I mean, would it be a great big stretch to think that, the whole program wasn't going as it should and how it was supposed to be going? She was Ben's wife. You knew she knew what was going on in that pew-pew hole of a mess. Ben could tell Patty they were locked up and pocket the money. I can't believe he didn't hire or he didn't ask for an attorney. That was very, very not smart. The entire judicial system in Letcher needs to be audited. I agree. I absolutely agree. What's the name? Angie Lori Sutherland. What's the name of the woman that worked in the prison where her husband was until trial? I think that's who you're talking about. Angie was Ben's wife, and she worked in the jail. That's why I said, with her taking all of those payments for the house arrest and it being her that's given the receipts, well, how did that not bring the jail into it? Because what that looks like to me is that she's at the jail working, and these people that need to pay their house arrest payments must have come into the jail and paid her, is why she's the one that's actually writing the receipt, because it doesn't look like they were paying Ben, or Ben would have been writing the receipts. And then she's taking a picture of it and sending it to Ben. So I don't see how she wasn't brought into the house arrest thing.
Well, what is it? Come here and get on my lap. Come on. There you go.
All right. I never did see anybody say anything about Kitty. So I guess everybody must have just passed right on by that. Good. Miss Kathy. Yeah, I think you're the only one that said anything about it there. That was so funny. Let's see. Lady Di too. I'm in Virginia and we only have MEs here, no coroners. All states should be that way. Yeah, well, like when Mickey unalived Kevin, it wasn't the coroner. They sent Kevin's body to the ME, the medical examiner.
They send the bodies off to be examined, the ones that they examined.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're an old person like me and they just die, they're not going to send my body off, probably. They're going to say, she died of old age.
Yeah. I had sent some stuff to me over here, and I thought, okay.
My little doggies and kitties are so sweet. I just love them so much. They bring me so much comfort and peace and joy, and they just are wonderful.
Now, I don't know who all of these people are.
Well, who are those fellers?
Well, that's Judge Mullins with the thing on his head, with his armpit there.
With his hairy armpit.
That's Judge Mullins, and this must have been in college.
They were going through some sort of a initiation into some club or something.
Yeah, fraternity.
Fraternities.
Yeah.
Them Greek fraternities.
Yeah.
Where did he go to school anyway?
One of them, I'm not even sure. One of them is a pharmacist, and I think he's no longer here anymore. The feller that used to go to my church. Anyway, I think he's no longer here. And I don't know who these other two people are. I feel like I know their faces, but I'm sure there's lots of people that watch this show.
He sure was a young man, wasn't he?
I don't know him. Yeah, it's sad. It's just the whole thing is very, very sad. Let's see. Here's one just of him.
Oh, we don't need to see that.
Okay. it make you sad, Mommy?
Well, it's just the implication.
The whole thing is sad that
I mean, he was just a kid going into a fraternity.
oh yeah, I know. I mean, the whole thing is sad that um like he's a person. He was a person. He was a human being. He wasn't just a judge. He was a father and he was a husband.
He made some good court decisions that I've seen.
Well, he
Some
made
of them we not agreed with, but you never know what kind of pressure he was under. But I've known of some that he made that I thought was okay, and in some other cases I thought he should have stood up stronger and didn't. But that's the way life goes.
yeah. Well, and then you've got to think too, him and Mickey to have been friends for as long as what they were friends. And then, what would cause one friend to do that to another friend? It would have to just be something that was just so bad. I mean that's what we want to say. Like everybody's looking for a reason. Everybody's looking for an excuse.
Well, there's just stuff we don't know, and all we can do is speculate. You could make a flow chart and you could say, well, it's over here and it's over there and it's over here. And so what'll happen if this happens and so forth. But, I think it'll come to light myself. I think a little more light will be thrown on it.
Well, I think being college roommates with him has sure kept Patrick's butt out of trouble and with all these charges that came against him. But, and I also want to say this. As we, and thank you, Mama Duck, because Mama Duck's the one that reminded me of this yesterday. As we learn more information and as we get more knowledge about certain things, we're supposed to change our minds. I mean, we're supposed to at least allow our minds to be changed as we
gather information.
Yeah, as we take in new and better information. We don't want to stay stagnant and just dug in on things. I mean, that doesn't
It's
help.
narrow-minded.
It's very narrow-minded, and change never does happen when we do that. We have to be able to keep an open mind and listen to the information as it comes out and be able to process it appropriately to be able to to have an opinion on it.
But I do think that there was some things going on that made Mickey do what he did. Now, whether he should have done that, I don't think so. But I mean, it's done and it's over with. But I don't think that he just got up one morning and said, I'm going to do this. You know what I'm saying? And I think it did have to do with that courthouse.
Yeah, I think it did too. I mean, we don't know. And it's not just this case. But Mickey going in there and what he did is bringing light now to these other cases. But, this, you can look at any case that goes in that courthouse, and I bet we could find something wrong with it.
Well, maybe not all of them, but I bet there's a lot of them that are questionable that they were treated fairly, and then there'll be some where it's questionable that they were treated special.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what you're looking at. You've got people who probably shouldn't be prosecuted because of situations like and things like malicious prosecutions. You've got prosecutors that hold grudges and want to make power plays, and then on the other side of the coin, you've got people who are out here committing these horrible crimes, who are getting special treatment and slaps on the hand. And But yet it's all rug. Everybody's focus is on the rugs. Everybody's focus is on cleaning up Letcher County. It's on the rugs. Well, when you've got a bunch of people who don't have very good morals or ethical ethics about themselves anyway, look at what they're doing with the treatment. I mean, now you've got FBI coming in to investigate ARC on the Medicaid fraud. I mean, it's follow the money. The money is the corrupter.
We've had wonderful, beloved doctors that have gone down because of the medical fraud. Medical fraud is just an ongoing business in lots of aspects of medical treatment.
Yep. Sure do.
But I'm ready for bed. I don't know about the rest of you people.
I am too. We have over 350 comments and barely 200 likes. Hit that like button, y'all, and help us hit that algorithm tonight.
All right.
All right.
Well, you turn me off.
I will, and I will call you later, and we'll jump back on.
What's ASL?
ASL? Let's see. My daughter is a junior in high school and takes ASL. Next time I will make sure she is around during a live. I'm not sure what ASL is.
I think it has something to do with the law, is all I'm going to say.
Yeah, it probably does. All right, Mommy. Well, you have a good night. Sleep tight. And I will see you tomorrow.
I don't have any bugs in my house. There ain't no bugs on me. Let the bed bugs bite, that goes on to say.
Yeah.
So I wanted to sing that little song for y'all. There ain't no bugs on me. There ain't no bugs on me. There may be bugs on some of you mugs, but there ain't no bugs on me.
I love it, Mommy. I love it.
Turn me off.
All right, honey. I'll see you later. Bye, Mommy. I love you.
Love you.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for another great live. We'll be back on tomorrow. And you guys sleep tight and don't let the bed bugs bite. All right. We'll see you later. Bye.